everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another MAMG Let's Play of The Great Ace Attorney. The first one, because there's two in this set. But anyways, we're gonna play through the first set and see how it goes first. Okay. And yeah, so last time we started this, we've been framed for murder. At least I think we've been framed. I don't think we actually killed anybody.
Nope,
and
totally killed him.
This waiter is conveniently leaving out a detail. So I think we should wait. I think we should let him tell his story, and then we can provide evidence that contradicts that, as opposed to jumping in and getting yelled at again. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay, cool, great, glad you're here. Alright, so let's wait and see what happens. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Ryunosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I'd never have gotten into Yume University otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know. Fine! If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just gonna shut my eyes and say it. Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Dear me. What are we gonna do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all?
Yeah, he's a student.
But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Very detailed. That's you. You're the judge.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout, drawn by yourself, I presume.
That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone.
Well, you're clearly a very conscientious speaker.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, coughing up blood on people's food.
Mm-hmm.
The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence.
Oh, well.
Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once.
Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. Okay. Waiter's business card has been entered into the court record.
Oh, yeah, I was supposed to be in there.
It's okay.
Sorry.
You're having some wine.
So, the court has now heard a precis of the case.
Yes, at the moment, the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in the terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
Isn't there only supposed to be like one more person?
There's a lot of people, apparently. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it. Professor Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing to now throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then the defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Dang.
Indeed. Prosecutor, how do you say his name?
Ouchie.
Ouchie, please continue with proceedings.
Tisk. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless.
His name is Ouchie.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be.
He's always the first. Like, some form of him is the first, like, tutorial prosecutor.
And then you get a real lawyer.
In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses.
Plural?
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. You're gonna bring one at a time.
Nope.
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesa Nosa reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Kyoryo Korekuta, at your service.
An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take tea to the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios which I make my business.
I can't understand a word of what that old man's saying.
He drinks tea and talks
He's an
to people
antique
about
dealer,
antiques.
and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yeah. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start.
No, now the court will hear your former testimony, please.
I have like 8 other characters I have to do. Just take the one.
You'll say everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred.
Although it's just me doing just like random voices and you're just sitting there like, this is fun.
Oh yeah, great time.
Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon.
His ears jiggle.
His entire body is jiggling. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on an English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
He was shot in the chest.
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. Did I hear? Oh, he's got a baby on his back. What times we live in when the English gentleman may be assailed in broad daylight of light of day, right? With the cross, like he's probably has like a kid on his. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... So that wasn't the murder weapon. Well, if that was the truth, there was obviously a criminal in the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these 2 witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal is. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now!
As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice.
Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare. But I get to finish.
No, because I have to interject before.
What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst?
I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination.
Dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic.
Huh? How did he know?
The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma's so commanding.
Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses.
Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that the soldier has to be a lie. Well, yeah, but... It's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Alright then. It's all or nothing. Look at the old man. He's guilty. The old man's guilty because he's shaken. I know it. Okay, so we know it's not this. We know it's the fact that he was shot in the back. So I'm gonna skip. Okay. And then we will... okay, not yet. Black uniform varsity cadet fired from the back. Here we go. Okay, so present our newfangled picture. I love that he just like sticks his hand out like he's in class. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here.
Tisk, what nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth.
I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom.
This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain.
You guys are idiots.
To spell it out would be an insult to the court. He's like, what? Kazuma, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Iesa Nosa. Oh, wow! I just got his name. Okay, hang on. I got it. Okay. People. Okay. So, Iesa Nosa, right? So, yes sir, no sir. That's what his name's a play on. Because he's like the military guy. That's amazing. Yeah, yes sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed a crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir. But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
He bent the bullet.
There's a baby. What the... What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again.
Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa?
Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were... Firmly fixed on the delicious Lockhart of all steaks, sir.
What?
The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. The witness, Sergeant Iasanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
That's absurd.
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom.
Oh!
Nice. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. Yes, think, Judge.
And you old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either.
Myself, I had already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, but what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure.
Treasure?
Indeed, the Hoihara Koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my aptitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest for my shop, Raste.
Nasute? Like Rusty?
Maybe.
Maybe? In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you.
On the day under scrutiny, it was the military man that I proffered my Hoei treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with a little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished. Hunting around under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
Indeed I did, but he did it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No.
I see.
That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
Okay, throwing some shade there.
Oh, as I'm sure everyone present is aware. This case demands a swift and decisive resolution.
Do you want me to be the judge? And
No,
we just...
it's fine.
Are you sure?
Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon.
Why would you promise that? Nevertheless, the witness's testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now.
What is your position, Prosecutor Auchi?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he'll find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he?
Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think? Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido, attention! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy.
Snot bubble.
He's so happy.
The true culprit. Okay. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment of the firearm discharge, it's almost the same thing.
No.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in the black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that there were only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
These testimonies are certainly compelling.
No.
Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her. If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Oh, is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime council? I keep forgetting.
It's okay.
Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident.
Why was his chair turned around away from his food, though?
I don't know.
As can plainly be seen, there's only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else.
This doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. The photographic print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record.
Yay! I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman.
The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well.
But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him.
It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Taketsushi Aochi, will have contributed to the enmity of those two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule.
Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet.
What?
If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination.
I don't know, Kazuma.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood?
Tisk! Rules can be so unbending at times.
Alright, let's see what they have to say. I don't know what the discrepancy is here. But let's see. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was. That young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was. The Englishman dining all by himself.
Therefore, none other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Okay.
I mean, you guys could have, so...
Yeah, but I wonder if it's... Oh god, okay. Back. Here, we were the only personnel present. I wonder if I press that, what happens. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing callous in my ear. And yet, no one else here appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman.
If only there'd be more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Are you...
Oh, certainly 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. No, I was thinking.
Yeah, I know. You look like you were thinking.
I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason.
There was? Ooh, okay.
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, Counsel?
It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
Hana? Yeah.
Hana Clinic. Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m.
The very day of the incident.
So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Huh? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Yeah, we definitely need that. Yes, ask. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to this arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence.
Very well. The court will grant the defense's request.
Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend.
Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. The victim's medical report card has been entered into the court record.
Alright, let's see what it says. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korekura-san.
Okay, so what do we have? What does this say? Is that, I can't look at it more? Okay. Well, I guess for now, we'll just leave this here and find out what we can find out next time.
Okay.
Poke and prod until we can get some more evidence, I guess. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next MAMJ. Let's play.